I talk to a lot of print-on-demand sellers, and everyone is out there looking for that next new hot niche, right? What's the new trend? What's the new, underserved niche that they can get in before anyone else? And there's nothing wrong with that. I do it myself. But in this video, I want to take it back a little bit. We're going to go back to some of the most basic and broad evergreen niches. And it gives me an excuse to make one of these cool SABCD style, tier list charts that you see all over YouTube. I've never done one, and I've always wanted to. So we're going to jump right into it. If you're new here, my name is Adam. I've been selling print on demand since 2018, and I've been doing it full time since 2022, and I love niche research. It's kind of my thing. I'm not really a good designer, but I'm pretty good at niche research. So in this video, I'm gonna break these niches down and rank them for you guys. And my goal is to just kind of open your mind up a little bit on maybe you shouldn't be overlooking these niches. It's just another strategy that I want to kind of talk about and encourage you out there if you're struggling to find a niche, or maybe the niches you're in you're not quite leveling up. Some of these big, broad, evergreen niches can really, really be lucrative. And at the end of the video, I'm going to save the best evergreen niche for last. It's one that I personally sell in, and I'm going to show you some validation, some proof how lucrative it can be. All right, now right over here on the side, you guys probably can't see that I have my niches. Now they're kind of in a random order, except for the last one, which is the best one, I think, and that's the one I'm gonna kind of expand upon. But let's just get started. I'm gonna drag them over. So the first one we have is Hobbies. Okay, Hobbies is a fantastic niche. There's no doubt about it. It's probably one of the most common niches that people think of when they think of evergreens, right? They're done all over the world. There's literally probably tens of thousands of hobbies out there. I do sell in this niche. I have a couple different hobbies that, designs that I've had success with. Most of them are ones that I know about, right? Where I have either some kind of inside information or a little bit more knowledge where I can maybe make a design that resonates a little bit more with the target audience. So for that reason, actually, hobbies are good. They're really good, but I don't think they're quite superb. So I'm going to put hobbies here in the A tier. Only because I think to really have a lot of success in some of these hobbies, niches, you have to understand the niche. I mean, I don't know anything about, I don't know, what's a crazy hobby? Like, drone building, for example. I have no idea. I don't fly drones. I don't really know much about that. So that's an example of, like, if somebody did, they'd have a small advantage. And that's what you should be using to enter these competitive evergreen niches. Okay, moving along. Next is travel, the travel niche. Now, this is a fun niche. I like to travel, so I do have a lot of different travel designs and travel shirts. This is a huge one. This can be really, really good, although I would say it can be a little seasonal. It's still evergreen. There's no doubt about it because there's so many different subgroups of travel and different ways to enter the niche. But maybe a little bit seasonal. For example, here in the Northern Hemisphere in the United States where I'm at, travel is probably most popular during the, spring through early fall, all of summer months. Probably goes on decline a little bit in the winter months. This is another one that you could easily Google a lot of locations, or ChatGPT, a lot of different locations, a lot of different destinations. But travelers are picky, so you have to be careful with that. Sometimes the design style doesn't match the location or vice versa. But again, this is another solid one. I'm going to put this in the A tier. And just to clarify, guys, when I'm thinking of these evergreen niches, the list that I have over here, I'm talking about niches that sell like all the time, year round. And the higher they are on this list means there's no question they're selling like year round. And the lower they are, maybe not quite as consistent, and maybe a little bit more difficult to enter, if that makes sense. Let me keep going, and maybe it'll kind of come together. All right, so next we have food and drink. This is another fun one for sure. I'm not super heavy in this. I've tried a couple different ways to enter this niche, and you certainly can. I think this is a better one for cross niching, really, than just entering in a regular niche. Where you can cross, like the tacos is an example. That's a food, and you could cross niche the taco niche with a ton of stuff. I mean, just look it up. Taco niche is absolutely huge. But because the raw food and drink category isn't quite something that I think, without question, people are buying every single day of the year, I'm going to put this one in the B category right here. All right, so next we have the family niche. Now, for the family niche, what I'm talking about here is stuff for like mom, dad, grandparents, siblings, brother, cousins, stuff like that. You see a lot of shirts directed towards that. They have that on the shirt, world's best mom or matching cousins, and you often see it used as a target in all these other niches, right? Matching Christmas shirts for siblings, world's best dad shirt for Father's Day. This is a monumentally huge niche, and it's extremely popular in the gifting category. People buying shirts for their grandparents, buying shirts for their aunt, things like that. So for that reason, I think the family niche and everything that sort of encompasses that has to go up here in the S category. But the caveat to that I'll say is, again, it's kind of more of a target audience, if that makes sense, than creating, I don't sit down and say, I'm going to make some shirts for cousins. I kind of go, okay, here's a niche. Now I'm going to create designs of that niche specific for cousins. Does that make sense? All right, moving along. Music. Now, you could absolutely argue, and it is, music is a hobby. There's no doubt about it. But I decided to break this off a little bit into its own evergreen category because it's still just an absolutely monumentally large niche. Now, the reason I included it is because I'm actually going to place music down here on the C category. And here's the reason for that. It's not because the music niche isn't a popular evergreen category, and there's no question people buy music-related shirts every single day. The reason I'm putting it down here in the C category is simply because I don't know hardly anything about music. And I think music is kind of a specialized category in some ways. I don't know how to read music. I don't know how to write music. I don't know how to play an instrument. You don't want to hear me sing. You'll shut your computer down right away. So the reason I'm putting it down here is because I don't personally have the knowledge to feel comfortable entering in the music niche. Sure, I might have the random design here or there, but for me, and this is my list, you guys can, drop a comment if you disagree or let me know what I've included or forgotten. But I think the music niche, although it is big, it's a great gift niche. You can target, all different age groups. You could target tons of different instruments. I just don't think it's quite as expansive as some of these others. And because you have to have, I think, some kind of understanding of music to really create designs that are going to stand out, I'm putting it on the C category. All right, next, pets. How could I do an evergreen niche video without including pets? I don't know how else to put it. Pets might be one of the best evergreen niches there is. There are literally hundreds or thousands of different pets out there. There's a ton of different ways to enter this niche, whether you're doing it for pet owners or pet gifts, or whether you're doing it for, specific breeds of dogs or cats, cross-niching pets with other popular categories like coffee and things like that. You're going to see pets very, very abundant on almost any platform. They absolutely sell year-round. And here's one big distinction with the pet niche that I think is important, and again, why I'm kind of doing this video. People love their pets. There's an emotional attachment to their pet. People are proud of their pet. People want to showcase that they love animals. Anytime that you have a niche that you can resonate something very emotionally strong like that, a statement piece saying, hey, I'm a proud Westie owner or something like that, you're gonna get results. And pets sell year round. Pet ownership is on the rise, right? People are having less kids. They're buying more pets. There's no question. Pets, I think, deserves right up here in the S category. No doubt about it. All right, moving right along. Next up, we have the occupations niche. Now, this is another one that I think a lot of people think of whenever we talk about evergreens, right? They usually go hobbies and then occupations, and rightly so. Occupations, very, very popular niche. There's tens of thousands of occupations out there, but I think this is another one where you may have to have a little bit of competitive advantage, either by doing some independent research, understanding a certain occupation or field, or maybe you have experience from a particular role. In my previous job before I became, self-employed, I used to work in an office setting, so I do have some shirts that are related to that kind of corporate office world, and I understand some of the jargon and inside jokes. And I think that's how you can have success in this niche. So for that reason, because it's a little bit like hobbies where you kind of have to have a little bit of insider information, I'm going to put it right here in the A tier. Absolutely fantastic. And the other thing that's cool about occupations is, there are new jobs and job types that are increasing in popularity, and then there are other ones that are going down. So it's a little bit dynamic in that sense. All right, next up, I have the fitness niche. Now, this is a tricky one, at least for me personally. This is a tough niche to kind of break into, or at least it's been a little bit tough for me. No doubt, these are very, very popular. And just to be clear, I'm talking about fitness, health, right? Like gym shirts, yoga, running shirts. Even healthy eating, right, could be tied into that. Personal training, that kind of world. I think that this is a good niche because it has a lot of emotional appeal. People are proud when they are exercising and they're fit and they like to take care of their body. So that's one of the big pluses, is that it's very, very popular in terms of an emotional statement. And like I mentioned with pets, that's the kind of area you want to be in. But for me personally, I've had a tough time cracking into this. There's a lot of trademarks in this niche, where people are attached to maybe a certain type of exercise style, and a lot of those can be trademarked. For example, like Peloton or Pilates, something like that. I'm pretty sure those are all trademarked. So entering this niche in a way that is safe and evergreen can be tough because there's a lot of competition. So for that reason, I'm just going to go ahead and put this here on the B tier. All right, we're down to the last niche. And before I share it, it's important to clarify, this wasn't meant to be an exhaustive list. This is by no means all of the evergreen niches. There are probably tons and tons more. These are just some of the big ones that I thought of off the top of my head and that I see a lot, in the POD community as far as, topics. So without further ado, the number one evergreen niche, in my opinion, is without a doubt the birthday niche. And here's why. If you think about it, there's only 365 days in a year. And there are literally tens of thousands of people who have birthdays every single day, maybe more. I don't really know. I mean, someone could probably do the math, but there's no question. So what that means is that there is every single day of the year, 365 days, someone is celebrating their birthday. It's not like Christmas that comes once a year, or maybe a hobby that's only done in the summertime, right? Birthdays are year round, okay? Every single day people are buying birthday shirts. And the next thing that's important to make a distinction about this is that it doesn't matter what age you are. I sell birthday shirts for 2-year-olds, and I sell birthday shirts for 100-year-olds, centenarians, people who turn 100, right? So it doesn't matter what age it is. It doesn't matter what day it is. There is year-round 365-day demand for the birthday niche. So I'm actually going to move family right over here because I think birthday has to get the number one spot. There's just no doubt about it. So the birthday niche is absolutely monumental. It's a monumental evergreen opportunity, even if you get in a small slice of it. Now, I'm going to put some images up here on the screen just to kind of validate this a little bit for you guys. A lot of my print-on-demand portfolio is in the evergreen niches, and a lot of them are birthday-related designs. This is just in like the last 30 days, how many shirts I've sold that are birthday related. And these are in all kinds of different sub-niches, different ages, right? Different categories in terms of, is it for a milestone birthday or is it just a random birthday? Is it a matching birthday shirt or is it, a birthday shirt that's related to a certain time of year? But I get it. A lot of people overlook the birthday niche. It's incredibly hard to kind of get into when you look at it from the bird's eye view. You just think, oh my gosh, how am I going to get in there? There's so many designs. There's so much competition. But with that comes an extreme amount of demand, perhaps the highest demand, as I mentioned. And to enter it, you have to think smaller. So what I would recommend doing, and maybe I'll do another video on this if you guys want me to, is what I recommend is start at the bottom. Start with the target customer. Say you want to make a kid's birthday shirt. Okay, then don't worry about adults. Don't worry about teens or anything like that. Let's worry about kids shirts, okay? Now I want to think about, well, what is popular with kids right now, right? What kind of sub-niches? What kind of fonts? What kind of styles? What things can be cross niche with that birthday niche in order to stand out, right? There's a lot of different ways, but the point I'm trying to make to you guys really with all of these evergreen niches is that although on the surface they can seem a little bit overwhelming, they can seem like they just have, way too much demand, or excuse me, they can seem like they have way too much competition. You have to understand that there's also an extreme high amount of demand. And there's also a thing called your time, right? And if you spend every day chasing trends and trying to find trends, it can be exhaustive. That means you have to put in work over and over to find the next trend or to find the next hot thing. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I know people who make tons of money doing that. I even do it, but it's a smaller percentage for me because I'm thinking long term. I want to make a design once that can pay me and sell for years and years and years, where I don't ever have to touch it. That's a true evergreen, right? That's something that has demand year round. That's something that produces consistent sales. The moral of the story, guys, is don't overlook these giant evergreen niches. I want to encourage you guys to roll the dice a little bit. Do not enter these niches and just duplicate or replicate the same things that are already selling. You're not going to have success. You need to spend more time on your niche research, more time on your target customer and your idea, the ideation stage to create a design that's unique and original that's going to stand out and resonate with that target audience. If you do that with enough evergreens over and over and over, then you're going to get a much more consistent income and a stronger return on your efforts. Thanks, guys. I hope this video was helpful for you. I had fun making it. Down below, I have, first of all, a link to sign up for my newsletter where I send out, just insights, strategy, niches, things like that about print on demand. And then below that, I have another link with a resource that I put together on a Google Doc for you guys to take a look at that just illustrates how you can take a niche like hobbies or fitness and break it up into smaller and smaller buckets, all right? And that's how you can enter these niches. You have to get in somewhere down the line, not up at the big, overwhelming level of just a travel shirt. You got to think of a sub niche or a sub niche. So that resource is down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give the video a like and consider subscribing. So that's all I got. Later, guys.